Two controversial labour-related regulations implemented by the previous Park Geun-hye administration have been scrapped. Advocates have hailed the move, saying it will help to rekindle communication between unions and the government. But others believe it's not a fundamental solution to the deeply ingrained problem. Jeong-yeon reports.
In January of 2016, the former Park Geun-hye administration introduced two labor regulations. One was the performance-based layoff policy, which allowed companies to fire employees for poor performance, and the other eased a rule that required companies to gain majority consent from their workers before making changes to working conditions. These regulations, however, were labeled as management-friendly or anti-labor, raising opposition from labor circles who said these regulations were just a way to make layoffs more justifiable and easier for employers. In response, President Moon Jae-in made it a part of his campaign pledges to scrap these regulations, with the government making an official announcement earlier this week.
There had not been sufficient consultations before introducing the regulations. Therefore, we're scrapping them.
This move by the Labor Ministry is seen as the government's efforts to repair relations with the labor unions. However, experts say that while this is a welcome first step, more efforts may be needed.
The government put forth a solution to patch up relations. That's important, but the question that remains is, does it solve the fundamental problem of Korea's labor productivity that ranks one of the lowest among OECD countries? Was it right to just scrap these regulations that were meant to increase market flexibility without a substitute solution? That is the task I think the government still has to solve.
The issue of increasing labor productivity was and is still being tackled by many countries. Germany is seen as a good example of a place that turned around its low labor productivity and high unemployment rate to now seeing a new low of jobless rate since 1980. Opposition parties argue that Korea can do the same by boosting labor market flexibility that go on par with developed economies, and that a new solution should be given to make the labor market less rigid and without increasing labor costs. Jeong-yeon, Arirang News.